These are 20 YouTube creators you should be subscribed to if you like Mele. Let's check out the list. These are in no particular order, but I'll be walking through my current picks as they came to my mind. The first one that comes to mind is Awesomesauce. If you don't know Awesomesauce, you should absolutely subscribe to this creator if you are a fan of Mele. Just really high production value, really fun videos. Here's one that talks about Mele's glitches that aren't actually glitches, and it explains. Look at this. This editing is so fun. It talks about things like L canceling, which is, by the way, a deliberate mechanic that Sakurai included in Smash called smooth landing all the way back since Smash 64. He gives plenty of examples of that, and it's just fantastically edited videos, really fun ones. One of my favorite YouTube channels, I would say. So absolutely subscribe to Awesomesauce. Next up, we have Turn Down for Walt. If you've watched Mele recently, you may recognize him as one of the commentators that comes on. He does a great job of that too, and he has awesome merchandise to top it all off. But he's a really great storyteller in this particular video. It's one of his most viewed ones. It talks about the Abate versus S2J match where no one could figure out why S2J took a certain stock off of Abate, and it talks about, you know, the odd ceiling glitch and all that. So it's a really fun watch. But he has a lot of great videos like that, so I recommend Turn Down for Walt. Next up, we have Practical Task. Practical Task isn't 100% a Mele channel, but the Mele stuff that they do go over does a great job covering it. Here's one that talks about Peach's break the target's speedrun record and why it's hard to replicate. It has to do with, of course, the RNG of Peach's down B, where she, you know, grabs a sword or a bomb or whatever is needed for a particular moment. And it goes through the history and it walks through the whole thing. It's a very fun story. So I recommend this video, and also just Practical Task is awesome, so you should subscribe to them as well. Next, we have GG Mele. Of course, this is Golden Guardians, the troupe of really talented Mele players. And this particular video, I was a huge fan of. They would basically have to hum or sing certain Mele tunes, and all the other contestants had to figure out what they were singing. And it's a game that I desperately would want to play with somebody. And they come up with these really imaginative, fun games. They have great interviews. They have a podcast. They interview top players, and it's just, yeah, it's a riot. I really enjoy their content a lot, so please subscribe to them. The next one is Mele Stats, and this video was just a fascinating look into kind of the idea of stalling and why people play Mele. And it's not always about winning, it's about doing cool things. And this video is probably the best explanation I could think of as to like really digging into the psychology of it. And Mele Stats has a bunch of great videos, which I recommend checking out, so subscribe to them. Next, we have, of course, SSBM Tutorials. This is like the de facto how to get better at Mele channel, where it talks about all the advanced techniques. They have player character specific ones. So here's the one on Sheik, which would be applicable to me as a Sheik main, and I've gotten a lot out of this video over the years. So a big fan of SSBM Tutorials, but a lot of you probably already know them if you care about getting good at the game. Next, we have Radar, another commentator as of late, who's made a lot of really helpful tutorial videos. He got his one video on setting up Slippy got really big, and so a lot of you may know him from that, but he's also a great commentator. He streams on Twitch. Really awesome. And this particular video is how to create Mele content, which I thought was pretty relevant for this video. So he walks through the steps of script writing, how to do the research phase, and the editing, so every single detail. And then he talks about like the software used, so like using recording software like OBS, like what I'm using right now, things like how to do video editing and the gear you might need and the software, and how to do the titles and thumbnails. So this is a great starting place if you're thinking about making content for Mele yourself. I totally recommend Radar stuff. He's really awesome. Next, we have Vancity Primal. Vancity Primal, if you've heard of Mele, he's responsible for that mod, and he just does amazing work on that. And again, that's what he's known for, but he also makes helpful DIY tutorials also, and I'm a huge tutorial appreciator myself. So here's a great concise tutorial on how to add your own stages and characters into Mele, and he goes through each step by step in a very concise manner. So absolutely check him out. Subscribe to him. We also have Bottom of the Smash Mountain. If you know, Cypher hosts a very beefy Mele podcast. I think he's over 150 episodes now, and Jesse's just a great guy, and so I recommend subscribing to him. And this video I isolated because it was a new format that he was trying out, which is talking about why Mele viewership is bad, which I thought was a really timely piece, especially when it came out, which was about some months ago, when that was kind of the discourse. He did a great job covering it, and I hope he makes more videos like it, and his podcast is obviously great. So subscribe to him on YouTube. And now we have Alston Mele, which, speaking of podcasts, we have another awesome podcast, and this one talks about the 10 iconic techniques or phrases in Mele, which is great for new players. Not all their content is like this, but again, it was a kind of a unique one that I've enjoyed, so I wanted to feature it. But they have a great podcast where they talk about all kinds of things related to Mele, and they're very active, so subscribe to them. Squid the Cat, he's starting his own Mele podcast as well. I think it's called Mele Mornings or something like that. I don't remember the exact name, but it's a great podcast, and he has kind of these chill sessions where he kind of walks through things that he's learning in Mele. Here's one where he talks about the movement and Fountain of Dreams with Falcon, which was a really fun watch, and he has this kind of chill vibe that's great. He's also a streamer on Twitch. Many of these people stream on Twitch, so I'd recommend following them there also. But yeah, subscribe to Squid. He's great. Now we have a newer creator named Swill, which I just discovered today, and I watched their video on stalling and it was very entertaining. And looking back on their video catalog, they have a bunch of like well-edited videos that I definitely want to like binge some of their videos and see like what I've been missing. So check out this creator. Next we have GR Smash, a more well-known Smash channel just for the amount of views, and obviously not just Mele, but there's some gems in this channel for sure. Here, one of my favorites is, of course, the greatest combo with every character, where they go through every single character's best combo, which is really fun to watch. But yeah, legendary uploader. You probably already know GR Smash. And we also have honest content. And this video on old school Mele was a fun look back at what the tier list was like in 2002 and how things have changed in the meta since. And does a really good job covering all these things. And honest content also uploads a lot of stuff around Project M and Project M mods and like Project Plus and like the Legacy mods. So shout out for covering that stuff. That's really, really cool. Subscribe to honest content. We also have Emp Lemon. Now, of course, this also made the rounds. There will never be another Mele player like Hungrybox, and I think this might be the only Mele video that this creator's done, but still worth subscribing just for this video and for their other videos. They're super good. Also, this is a kind of underappreciated creator, but one that I found really helpful and was really good supporting content to watch before I made the Elevated documentary. And by the way, that reminds me, I'm currently wearing an Elevated shirt, so if you want a really cool Mele related or Mele adjacent merch, I have a merch store, and the URL will be in the description if you want to get a cool Elevated shirt like this. But tangent aside, RES did a phenomenal job covering like Mele's development and its history, and it was just, again, well edited, good storytelling, and criminally underrated in terms of like the views, like criminally underviewed, I should say. And oh yeah, here's my comment. Here's my comment from when I saw it. So yeah, check out RES and subscribe to them. They also cover Smash 64 and Brawl too in a very similar format. It's fun to watch them all in a row, so I recommend doing that as well if you subscribe to them. We also have Relaxlax, and as you know, Relaxlax is more of a generalist YouTuber who covers a lot of different games, but this one on Mele is incredible. And what I like about his Magnum Opus series is he kind of looks at a creator's catalog in its totality and says, what was the best thing they made? And his argument here is that Sakurai's Magnum Opus was Mele. And what I like about it was he tackles it from a casual standpoint, because I think Mele's longevity and the reason for its activity right now is definitely more around its competitive scene and the tournaments and those things. But there's an element to kind of the artistry of Mele and like how basically the casual side of it that's really underappreciated, I would say. And I think Olac does an amazing job here of really speaking to that. And so I really recommend this video, especially if you're a more casual fan and you just appreciate Mele the game for what it is. I 100% recommend you check out this video. It's a phenomenal piece. Next is Action Esports. They cover a lot of fighting game related things, and they have a really fun overview of wave dashing technique. They talk about the origin of it and how it got incorporated into competitive play and how it's changed throughout the years. So a really fun video on that, and talk a lot about Mele in this video, obviously. And then we have Space Chicken TV. You'll find him to be a witty, awesome creator who explores glitches. He does more things than that. He does reviews also, but he's more known for his glitches. And so his episode on Mele glitches is a really fun watch if you want to know some of the wacky glitches. And when he says glitches, he actually means glitches, not like L canceling and wave dashing, like actual, like the black hole glitch and just the wackiest one. So subscribe to Space Chicken. Whenever he uploads next, we look forward to it. Fuzziness, it gets the final slot here. Fuzziness is a Mele speedrunner. He speedruns a lot of games, but I really got a lot out of his video on RNG manipulation Mele right here. I really enjoyed it because he talks about a tool that Save State created that basically helps you detect what seed that you're on in Mele, and it's just a fascinating watch. I really recommend if you're interested in how Mele works behind the scenes. I would 100% recommend checking out Fuzziness' video here. And just subscribe. He does awesome content. So that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed this video and you subscribe and discover some new creators that you didn't find before. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.